The best technique I was taught many years ago from one of the world-class performers I interviewed was the bookstore technique. All you do is walk into a bookstore and notice which section of books you naturally gravitate toward. Do you go right for the antique section, the sales book section, the romance section? Whatever it is, ask yourself this question. Does anyone make a living in this field? And then do your homework. With the advent of the internet, all the research you'll ever need is at your fingertips. And just keep repeating this process until you decide what you want to do. When this happens, you'll notice your level of ambition and enthusiasm for work begins to skyrocket. You'll look forward to going to work and you'll become one of the best in your field because you love it. Bill Gove, the father of the professional speaking industry, had a beautiful line about this. Bill said, "When you're doing something you love to do, the only reward you need is the experience of doing it." And I couldn't agree more. But if you can love it and get paid, how awesome would that be? It's possible, I promise. No excuses, just do the work. Find people who can help you and pay them whatever they ask. After all, this is your dream career and you only have one life to live. Go for it. When you do, magic is going to happen. People ask me all the time, how have I been able to interview all these world-class performers? And the truth is I've done it through contacts. World-class thinkers build an international network of contacts, which we'll discuss in detail in another show. So I'm constantly connecting with my network and letting them know who I'm trying to track down to interview. So a few years back, I'm working in my office at about 10:30 on a Friday night when I get a call from one of my contacts in South Beach, Miami. His name is Brian, and he's a very successful professional model. He says, "Steve, you got to come down to South Beach tonight for a birthday party." And I said, "Brian, I really don't have time to drive an hour and a half to come to a party." He says, "It's for one of your world-class contacts." And I said, "Brian, it's 10:30 at night. It'll be midnight by the time I get there. Who could possibly be worth going down to South Beach for at midnight?" He said, "How about Hugh Hefner?" I said, "I'll see you at midnight." It turns out this was Hugh Hefner's 75th birthday party, and it was going to be taped and broadcast on TV. As a result, they only invited professional models, so I considered myself undercover. So I get to the party about midnight, and Mr. Hefner isn't there yet. The place is packed with male and female models and bunnies dancing on tabletops. It was really a tiny party, only about 75 people. As soon as I walk in, one of the bunnies prances up to me and says, "Are you with the caterers?" And I said, "No, I'm a professional model." And she starts laughing and she says, "Seriously, we need 20 more bags of ice." A few minutes later, I'm standing at the bar talking to Jeremy Piven, the actor, whose work I love, having a great time, and another bunny tells me I better get back to work. So much for being undercover. And I was wearing my very best members-only jacket. So about 1 a.m., Hef walks in finally, with the red smoking jacket on, of course, escorted by 3 of what appear to be very close friends. Obviously, he'd been helping them with their algebra homework, so I got to meet him. But he didn't really have time for the interview, so I decided to wait. I figured he would tire out pretty quickly, considering he was 75 years old. So Hef sits down about 10 feet from me, and he starts dancing with his little friends. And an hour goes by. It's 2 a.m., I'm still waiting, Hef is still dancing. By 3 a.m., the TV cameras were gone, and Hef was still dancing. I finally gave up at 4 in the morning and went home. When I walked out, Hef was still dancing. I was a little bummed out I didn't get my interview, but I thought it was pretty amazing that after all the cameras had stopped filming, Hef was still having a big time. Here's my point. This is a guy who clearly loves his job. Can you imagine doing something you love to do? Do you believe it's possible no matter what stage of life you find yourself in? I can tell you stories of people who have done this at every age. Hopefully you'll consider some of the ideas we've talked about on today's show, and even better yet, I hope you'll take action. I'm your mental toughness coach, Steve Siebold. Until next time, stay tough.